7-yard line. That's a great call, too. Playing fake, and Farmer will put it up, throws over the middle. Boom, touchdown. Great flag. That's a late.
Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.
From behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him. Wow.
Edwards pulls up and buries a flag.
And welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Carrotnudo at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. You know this. Yes, don't be bashful. I know you know this. And she is so live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. My IG, michael.carrotnudo.5. And you know it, Pitchfork Lunchers, the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube. Absolutely awesome. And you can subscribe to the channels because any sound you miss, any interviews you've missed, anything you miss, Pitchfork Lunchers, it is there for you on YouTube. So you can subscribe away and be very happy that you be very happy that you can get caught up on everything. So go to YouTube. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, Champ 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Because, like I said, anything you miss, you can get caught up on. And today, if you're watching this live, then you know. But if you're watching this on the good old YouTube channel, it is Victory Thursday for volleyball. We will get into that. But you can also hear Pitchfork Lunch live every day. You can listen live on the Casual Sports Radio Network. All you have to do is go to www.ksrnaz.com and click Listen Live. Bam. There you go. And by clicking Listen Live, you'll be able to hear Pitchfork Lunch if you're driving to lunch to meet your friends. So those watching, let your friends know if they're driving to meet you on this Thirsty Thursday edition that all they can, again, just listen on the way there. Of course, I want you to watch. Please don't watch and drive. I'm sure you guys all know that. But it's you can again listen live and on KSRN, but plus, I mean, again, all the Sun Devil going around Sun Devil Nation added to KSRN, because you talk about comprehensive coverage of the Cardinals, the Suns, who won again last night, Diamondbacks, Mercury. It's all there on the Casual Sports Radio Network, the best internet radio station out there. So again, you can now listen to Pitchfork Lunch. Got a lot of Sun Devil material going there. So jump on in, because like I said, it is Victory Thursday, Pitchfork Lunchers, and you guys saw it on the way in. But yeah, it was absolutely awesome last night. And again, I showed you some of there's a few on the way in, some longer points that not ASU always didn't get, but there's a few that they did. And this defense, and Kansas came in, the number 8 team in the country, comes into Tempe facing, the number 11 team in the country for the top spot in the Big 12. Kansas now has their first loss in conference play, and that is from the Devils, who are 23-2 right now. 51 wins now for head coach J.J. Van Niel. Forks up to Coach Van Niel. The job he's done, obviously, he talks about his team. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from Claire Jeter and just the amazing Claire Jeter and Argentina We'll hear from them. Also, Coach Van Niel. But, man, What a matchup it was last night. This is how the first set ended. For those of you listening on KSRN, I shall describe for you, but Jelly Sear is serving for the set. It was 25-24. Again, it's up to 25. Got to win by 2. Yes, I know you volleyball aficionados know that, but for those that don't, volleyball is, best 3 out of 5 sets. Got to win 3. And then if it goes to the best 3 out of 5 up to 25, got to win by 2. If it goes to the 5th set, it's up to 15. Still got to win by 2. And I'm still to this day waiting for my 79 to 77 5th set. But nonetheless, that would be very taxing. Yeah. So first set, and like I said, got to win by 2. So Kansas is able to tie it up. ASU was up by 5. I think they're up like 20 to 15, 21-16. And then KU made a little bit of run. They end up tying it up at 24. So we get bonus volleyball. And this is at 25-24. The amazing Jelly Sear back to serve, as you guys will see here. And again, the spin. And what does she do? This is the first ace of the set. Well, it's the first set and the match on the very last point. And Jelly Sear with that just low line, that line drive serve. And again, got pace to it. Check it out again. As again, a floating jump serve. But look at that. And trying to make a play on it as it just drops down, hits the court. The Devils take that first set, 26-24. And get the victory. They did drop the Kansas, again, the number 8 team in the country. They're not going to go lightly, right? The fact it didn't go 5, I'm a teeny bit surprised. But at the same time, but the Devils did win in 4. The Devils did win in 4, and they were able to bounce back. But Kansas did take the second set, like I said. And again, it's one of those things where they're the number 8 team in the country. And I talked about it yesterday. They had been to 5 only once, just like ASU. They've, basically been to 4 the same amount of times. They've won matches in 3 around the same amount of times. So the Devils 23-2 now, 11-1 in Big 12 play. They've dropped 15 sets all year, has ASU. In their 25 matches, they have dropped 15 sets. Again, as it beat Kansas last night in 4, 3-1. That is just – yeah, 15 sets all year that the Devils have dropped. And then, last night you look at it, they didn't hit the best, but neither did Kansas. ASU hit 166, Kansas hit 185. So again, the defenses they're 6 aces to 1 though. Again, Jelly Sear, the first ace came on set point in the first set, the very last point of the first set. Not that they're easy to come by, especially when you're playing a team like Kansas. But you look at Shania Cromartie and Jelly Sear both with 15 kills last night. Claire Jeter had 10 aces. Jelly Sear had 2. Jillian Neal had 1. Claire Jeter had 1 as well. Blocks, Claire Jeter and Savannah Kohedi had 7 apiece. They both had 7, and then Roberto Rebello had 6 last night. Assists, though, Argentina with 51. 51. Yeah, I want to say that Argentina she had 51 assists, 3 kills, 13 digs, and 1 block. Like, that is a phenomenal night again from Argentina. And Mary Schroll last night had 24 digs, and you saw some of them on the way in, just absolutely money. This team, again, the way they're playing, again, you heard from Claire Jeter and Argentina as well, the way they've been playing and what they can do. And like Coach Van Neal, I mean, you'll hear from him. He said it again, but they don't get phased. And, he talks about the calmness of certain players, and not that the whole team's not calm, but just the way some players are. So yeah, absolutely awesome. Win last night. So yeah, they take the first, they drop the second. The first is 26-24, and then they dropped the second 25-20, or since ASU won, it would be 20-25. And then they took the third 25-20 into fourth. Of course, a little more bonus volleyball. The Devils took it 27-25, in which, for those of you listening, I shall show you again. This is and fittingly enough, Argentina serving for the match. 26-24. And again, a third one serve drives it deep. And again, a little back and forth. By Kansas by their libero to keep it going. And they were going to mess up there, but still gets hits it, swings down off the block and goes out. And there is your match and celebrates. Again, absolutely awesome. Roberta Habel last night, nine kills for her. She also had an ace. She had 6 blocks, 3 digs. Just absolutely. And then Shania Cromartie said 15 kills. Jelly Sear, 15 kills. Cromartie had 9 digs. Sear had 10. You get what I'm saying? Like, they can play defense. They run that high tempo offense, which Coach Van Neal wants to do, as those of you that have watched the show and seen their volleyball team know. But it's just a deep team, and the way they play. And they're truly, again, number 11 in the country, and now they got Kansas State coming in. And don't worry, I don't think we shall see a letdown there. But again, we'll hear from Coach Van Neal and Argentina and Claire Jeter shortly. Also, football, my friends, don't forget, Saturday, 5 p.m., they are taking on Central Florida at Mountain America Stadium, home of the Sun Devils, as they will be rolling. Again, got their first Big 12 road victory after, again, Texas Tech and Cincinnati falling just a teeny bit short in those, but they are now 6-2. And man, have a UCF team that has was it KJ Harvey, who is just you look at the Big 12 now, BYU still 5-0, in conference play. The only undefeated team left in, the only undefeated team left in the Big 12. They're 5-0, and they're barreling towards a visit to Sun Devil Stadium or Mount America Stadium, take on the Sun Devils. I know, Sun Devil Stadium for so long, but I'm getting better. Pitchfork Lunchers, you know it. But BYU up top at 5-0. Iowa State with their loss last week, they're 4-1. Colorado's 4-1. K-State is now 4-2. Texas Tech is 4-2. Cincinnati is 3-2, as are the Devils, and Cincinnati listed above them just because, yes, Cincinnati did beat them head-to-head. West Virginia's 3-2 as well. Then you have Baylor, Houston, and TCU all at 3-3. UCF is 2-4, and then Utah, Kansas, and Kansas are 1-4. The team down south is 1-5. Oklahoma State 0-6. Like I said, they were 0-5 going into the ASU game, and I wouldn't have predicted that, but predicted that ASU would win. And got that. So, yeah, the Devils, I mean, you play, UCF, who, like I said, they're 2-4 in conference play, 4-5 overall. But, yeah, it's – yeah, RJ Harvey. I said CJ, pardon me. RJ Harvey, 1,201 rushing yards on the season, third in the country behind Ashton Genty of Boise State and Caleb Johnson of Iowa. Genty at 1,525. Caleb Johnson at 1,279. Harvey, like I said, at 1,201. Then you have Omari and Hampton of North Carolina at 1,178. Malik Hughes of Tulane at 1,056. And then Taj Brooks at 1,047. And then, look at that. Number 7, Cam Skattebo. 173 carries, 1,001 yards, 5.8 per carry, and 11 touchdowns. Which Genty has 20 rushing touchdowns. And, man, I mean, he's making a bid at a 2,000 yard rushing season, which again, I know I like I said, I feel him and Skattebo are very deserving of being in New York. I mean, I know what Dylan Gabriel's doing up at Oregon. Cam Ward, obviously, the old Washington State quarterback, transferred to Miami, what he's doing. And then you have Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Like, I get it, and they're delivering. But yeah, I mean, you look at rushing touchdowns. Genty with 20, Caleb Johnson with 19, Bryson Daly of Army also with 19, as is Dylan Sampson of Tennessee. And then you get RJ Harvey of UCF, who has 16 rushing touchdowns, Trey Stewart of Jacksonville State with 15. And then Mario Anderson of Memphis has 14. Mario Anderson Jr. And then Omarion Hampton has 13 from UNC. Anthony Hackerson from Oregon State has 13 as well, as does Devin Dampier of New Mexico. And then Jalen Miller has actually rushed for 12, the quarterback for Alabama, as has Jaden Nixon of William and Mary, I want to say. And then Biashul Tootin of Virginia Tech has rushed for 12, as has Blake Horvath. And then you get the guys at the party for 11, Brashard Smith at SMU, Riley Leonard at Notre Dame, and Cam Skattebo of ASU, along with Mekhi Hughes of Tulane. But still, I mean, a hell of a season so far. And again, like Coach said, we'll see if Cam will play. We heard from him yesterday, so we'll see if he'll play. This week, but Yeah, I mean, it's huge game. Obviously, very, very huge game for Sun Devil football. And hey, we can take a little bit of that volleyball mojo, number 11, and a little volleyball mojo and spice, and sprinkle it over Mountain America Stadium for the Devils. Yeah, they go to 7-2. I mean, look, they're going bowling. We know that. We're very excited about that, and now they have a chance to move to 7-2, and they'd be 4-2 in the Big 12. So, I mean, things got to happen. You play BYU. You don't play Colorado or Iowa State. I mean, they have UCF, Kansas State, who they play, who's ahead of them, and then BYU, and then the team down south left. So, a little bit of work to do, obviously, one at a time. But, man, this defense, and again, we'll hear from Clayton Smith and Shamari Simmons in a little bit. But, yeah, just so very stoked, obviously, the way this team's rebounded from last year. And, again, the defense, Coach Ward, knock on wood, the overall health. But Coach Ward, which, hey, might have some news on a guest tomorrow. We're working out scheduling and details to get the wonderful defensive coordinator of the Sun Devils on, Brian Ward. So, again, I will let you know. But, yeah, this defense is well, hey, he talked about turnovers last year. They didn't come till later in the season. First touchdown of the season, defensive touchdown. And the few of us defensive people absolutely love that. But, yes, of course, we want the offense to score as well. And a lot at a high clip, right? But yeah, so that is coming up in basketball. The men's hoops tomorrow. They're in Vegas, taking on Santa Clara. Women's hoops is home tomorrow as well. It's a 3 p.m. game at Desert Financial, because then at 7 o'clock at Desert Financial. So again, go to women's hoops, stay for volleyball. See what they do against Kansas State in the salute to service game. So, yeah, that is at 7 p.m. And women's hoops plays tomorrow at 3 p.m. As they will be taking on, they just obviously beat Arkansas State. That's who they will be taking on. Yes, that's who they will be taking on. So, and then the 23-2 Sun Devils, after beating number 8, we'll see how high they possibly. I mean, again, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I mean, I think they would have to be above Kansas. I'm sorry, you played them, you beat them head to head in 4. It's not like it didn't go 5, and I mean, even the second set was obviously very close. So again, we shall see. But I'm going to step aside real quick. When we get back, we're going to hear from Coach Van Neal and about the victory. And, of course, Argentina Ung and Claire Jeter. Again, just phenomenal performances. And, man, so stoked Argentina Ung, with the uncertainty of, again, Washington State still being in the Pac-12 and what was going on. Argentina Ung transferring to ASU. So very, very, very stoked for that. And Claire Jeter obviously back from last year in the season she had, and just building even more and more. So we'll hear from all of them after the break. And yeah, it is very, very exciting in volleyball country. So we'll step aside. More Pitchfork Lunch coming up.
This is the sound of a racing heart. It's beating a little faster because it belongs to a young child. But this child isn't in the middle of a close soccer game or playing with her puppy in the yard. Her heart is racing because she's just been told she has to move foster homes again. Change a child's story. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org. This is the sound of a racing.
Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the Valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority.
KSRN has the inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use.
For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean McConnell.
Bird Gang, I know it's another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending the message out to the world.
Always relaying that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
And yes, those of you listening on KSRN, you are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, the Casual Sports Radio Network. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. For those of you watching on X, Twitter, my IG, Michael.Caratino.5, the YouTube channel, go and subscribe. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. And then, like I said, coming in on the Casual Sports Radio Network as well. You can go to www.ksrnaz.com. And if you're driving around, you're at work, you can't watch and work. Boss won't like that, whatever. I understand. But you can just hit listen live, minimize the screen. Everybody's good to go and get caught up all in Sun Devil country, especially with this, the number 11 volleyball team. Coach Van Neal now 51 wins as the ASU head coach. Yes, talented players, but yes, the way they play, the way he, gets his team to play, the way they respond to a lot. So, yes, we are going to hear from him. And, without further ado, here is Sun Devil women's volleyball head coach, the number 11 team, who just took down number 8 and is at the top of the Big 12. You can't tell I'm excited, right? Pitchfork Lunchers forks up to that. Absolute forks up. But here is Coach Van Neal after last night's victory.
Start with opening thoughts from Coach and then go to questions.
Opening thoughts, that was exciting. That's a really, really good team, and I think we both have some similarities. They were putting a lot of pressure on us, and I just thought we did a nice job battling. I mean, that second set was not very pretty, and once again, I thought we stayed really, really composed. I'm really proud of this team. It's a very special group, and they really. They just don't get fazed by stuff, which is pretty cool. It's really fun to be behind and watching them. So, fun game. Questions?
What do you see from the crowd tonight? How important was the crowd tonight in this match?
The crowd was huge. I mean, they were so loud. Over 4,000 on a Wednesday night was just a phenomenal. Thank you to them for coming out and supporting us. That was a huge win, a huge matchup. and we love playing in front of our fans. I cannot stress that enough to them. I want them to come out at every match, keep coming out and build this thing, because the energy in here is just unbelievable. And it's like having 6 man in basketball. That's our crowd. It's pretty cool.
You all had a block party at the net tonight, and even when you weren't getting blocks, you were still pressuring attacks and getting the energy out of those Kansas plays. How important was it to slow them down and be physical and vertical at the net?
Yeah, they're a really, really good offensive team, and I thought our players really did a nice job being really gritty and scrapping it out. And I thought at the net, it was pretty clear they were going after our left sides. Tons of slides, tons of reds over in area 2, and we did a great job. And we were touching a lot of balls, and if we can touch it, we got defenders back there digging in. We got some stuff blocks, and it was good. I thought we did a pretty good job on most of those guys. 17 got loose a lot, but aside from that, we did a nice job.
And I'm thinking you obviously figured you'd be in a close match, but when you talk about playing in front of the fans too, but when you take the first set, knowing you're playing a tough team, I mean, I gotta figure that builds momentum, and even to help bounce back after a second set. But what has taken that first set just do for, at least in this match tonight?
Yeah, again, it's tough for me to with the momentum stuff because most analysts would say it doesn't exist, but I do think you get some confidence, and I thought where the confidence came from in that is it was kind of back and forth, and if I'm not mistaken, we had a bit of a lead, and then they came back, and that happened twice. It happened there, and it happened in the fourth set, and I think I do believe it gives you some confidence. And like I said, this is just a really, really confident, composed team, and they just kind of like, all right, cool, they came back, and now let's go win and overscore. We had 2 sets of overscore against a really good team. It was exciting.
How have you seen the blocking since the matchup in U of A? How have you seen the blocking just come to life for your team?
Yeah, I think, we do spend a decent amount of time, getting prepared for our opponents, and I think Presley's done a really good job with our middles, kind of helping them with some stuff, and they take some pride in it, and I think we're, of course we're working on it, and it's cool to see them execute.
So was the blocking coming into this week like a major focus, because the team hasn't been getting a crazy amount of blocks coming into tonight? Was it kind of a focus point more recently?
It's not so much blocking as just like what the defensive plan is when you're preparing for teams. And at the end of the day, the serve sets it up. When we're serving well, it puts a lot of pressure on teams. And that was kind of, I think, the difference in this match. When you kind of look, we had like a bunch of even things, but our defense really stepped up. And part of that was our serve. We had 6 aces, 8 errors. That's very happy with that. They had 1 and 9, and that's a massive difference. And so we're putting pressure on them, and it allows our blockers to be a little more aggressive on some things. But yeah, we always have a plan, and our kids do a really good job. I mean, they are very engaged, and they're working hard to kind of execute that stuff. So.
How much of a difference is there when you played Nebraska early at their place, admittedly, but lost that match, compared to playing a top 10 team now?
Nebraska, I just think, is a lot different team than Kansas. They're very physical. Kansas was kind of fun because I think they're really a lot like us. They played very clean volleyball, putting a ton of pressure. Not that Nebraska doesn't. I mean, Nebraska's good, but our offense was getting loose against Nebraska, and in here, I mean, this is probably our worst match of the season of hitting efficiency, which I'll take. We got to win, hitting 166. So I think they're very different opponents. They were very hard to get out of system, if I recall, when we were there. But again, I do believe we're playing better volleyball, and we're getting better on things. I think we're defending a lot better than we were back then, for sure. So.
You spoke about your team remaining composed. Obviously, things got a little bit close there in that last set, but what's the message in those timeouts down the stretch, and what's the conversation looking like amongst the players?
It's really solution based. You know, it's kind of talking about what's next. After we side out, how are we defending? What are shots that are open? What are things we should be running? And you know, a little bit also about just, hey, well, let's make sure we're aggressive. You know, if we, after the second set, I talked about it. If we go down, we go down swinging. You got to be aggressive. I thought in the second set we got a little bit passive offensively. So it was really cool. I was proud of them because they came out and started ripping balls. And the last 2 sets, you know, we hit quite a bit better than the other ones.
Then I know, I mean, I asked you about Argentina, but a bunch of players obviously had good numbers tonight. But when she has, I think, like 51 assists, like the digs, a block, I mean, and everybody's kind of getting in on the party scoring. Just how much more energy does that give you guys?
Yeah, I mean, Arj is a special player, which we all know and we see. And what I think one of the things that like people don't know about Arj is like her composure on the court, her calmness. Like her and Mary are, I mean, they just lock it down back there. They're just really, really calm and composed, and it helps everyone else. And it's like in big moments, I mean, I'm probably more frazzled than her half the time, you know? And we're coming in a timeout, and I'm chatting with her, and she's like, yeah, okay, all good. Yeah, I got it, you know? And I think it feeds the rest of the team, and everyone's like, all right, well, our setter who's touching the ball every single play, she always has a contact for the most part, is not looking to score, not worried. She just comes out and plays. It's cool. She's a very special player.
Cool. You were talking about going down swinging if you're going to go down. Is that always something you're talking to Cromartie about? Like, go up there and hit. I mean, you know, don't go off speed and, you know, tip the ball and whatnot. Just go up there and hit it.
Yeah, it's a fine line because of the type of volleyball we play, and so I think sometimes when you're a good defensive team, you're kind of like, hey, as long as I keep it in play, like we'll get another shot, which we talk about all the time. So like, I do not blame my team, but I think sometimes you can go too far, and that team is a really good defensive team, and so they were putting pressure on us. And places we normally would score, we weren't scoring. And again, just like we put pressure on teams because we're doing that, they were putting pressure on us. And then we start forcing stuff. So we start forcing stuff, we're making errors, and then they make an error, and then like, oh, we got to manage. I don't know, I'm going way too deep on this probably, but at the end of the day, you're winning volleyball matches because you're going to go up and you're going to bang the ball. You know, you're not winning because you're tipping. There's some strategic times to do it, but for the most part, yeah, it's not just her. It's all of them. It's like, hey, we got to hit some balls, especially against that team. I mean, those guys they can move, man. It's a good team.
One more question. Coach, you had 3 players in double-digit kills tonight, almost a 4th with Rebello. How does that really help you guys unlock the offense?
I've said it all year. I mean, we have a pretty balanced team, and we have the ball control to do it. And I think it's really important because when we're balanced, it makes it a lot harder for teams to defend us. And I think when we get unbalanced, it makes it easy for teams. So Arj knows that. I think she spreads the ball around really, really well. And obviously we had, you know, we had a lot of contributors, you know, Claire with 10. I mean, Savannah had 8, you know, like, it's really good. And that was a tough team. So everyone had to contribute. It was pretty cool.
We'll go ahead and open right questions for Argentina and Claire.
You guys had some good blocking tonight. There wasn't a lot of them hitting off the block. It seemed like your block angles were really good. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we work on blocking a lot. Obviously, people like to say we're a smaller team, so we want to make sure that we're a big presence at the net. I think that comes a lot with, we have some great hitters on our game changer side. So Jillian Neal is someone that puts up a big ball majority of the time in practices that really messes with our block. Getting to practice against someone that's that good at tooling really, really helps us stay disciplined at the net.
Argentina coach talked about how balanced the team is and how you do a good job of spreading the ball out and making sure everybody gets touches. What goes into one-on-one and chemistry with each of your teammates, getting them to their spots and that sort of thing?
I mean, we're all friends outside of the court, so the communication is always there, the trust is always there. We're a great passing team, so that allows me to literally spread the ball anywhere in the court. We knew Kansas was a physical team, good defensive team, so just looking for different ways for my teammates to score.
How big was this matchup? You, Arizona State at 2 and then Kansas at 1 coming into this match in the Big 12 standings?
Huge. I mean, we wanted to come into the Big 12 and make a difference and make a name for ourselves. I think we did that. They're a great team, so it was a really fun game. I think we played really, really well.
And how important was this crowd tonight, helping out get the win tonight?
Our fan section, our crowd is always amazing. 942 coming out, showing out is awesome. All the fans that we get really make a difference, especially in Mullet when it gets so loud. So we love our fans. They always do something for us.
I was asking Coach, I mean, obviously momentum, you're playing a big matchup like this, but you take the first set, I mean, they take the second set, but when you take a first set like that and it goes a little extra, I mean, confidence-wise, what does it do for you guys as a group?
I mean, we pride ourselves in being a very composed team, so it doesn't really matter what the other team does. We just keep trusting each other, keep hitting the ball, keep passing, keep playing our defense. I mean, we're a great defensive team, so we just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think coming out strong is something that we're really trying to focus on now, and I think this was one of our better games for that.
A lot of blocks tonight, and even when you guys aren't getting blocks, you're still applying a lot of pressure on the net. How much energy does just applying that pressure take out of a Kansas attack?
Oh, a lot. For sure. Getting blocked in any team, it obviously kind of lowers the mojo, lowers the vibe. So I think for us, getting stuffs is really big, obviously, for most teams. And I think making our presence big and known on the net, getting touches, slowing things down, stuffing balls, being smart about our play calls. I think that a lot of that goes to Ellen and JJ. They make a lot of our calls on what we're going to front, what we're going to block. And yeah, I think it obviously makes a big difference.
Kansas leads the Big 12 in blocks per set, and you guys matched them tonight with 14. How much pride do you take in the performance tonight?
A lot. Definitely a lot of pride. Like I said, we're not really known as like a huge blocking team, and I think these past couple of games we've shown that we are that blocking team. We can make a difference at the net, and we're present there. So, you know, tying with the number 1 in our conference is pretty big.
When you hit 166, you wouldn't necessarily think you would be the top 10 team. How much does that say about how far you guys have come, say from Nebraska to now, that you can win even with a lower hitting percentage?
I mean, we make our errors. We know they're going to make their errors too. A kill is a kill, an error is an error, so it doesn't matter the hitting percentage at the end. If we got the dub, I mean, we're happy to do that, and just keep trusting my teammates and the way we play.
Our grit beats everyone's grit. I stand by that no matter what. Our defense is insane. So if we out-grit every team, even if our hitting percentage is lower, they're going to end up making an error before we do.
To kind of piggyback off that, I know you said it earlier in the season, like if sometimes you get frustrated, you might feel like you're out of position for a block, but you know Mary's behind you, and obviously you're the benefit of getting a lot of those sets too. But I mean, some of the digs she came up with tonight, I mean, do you get surprised by what she does?
Playing with her for 2 years now, I would say no. I think every ball she can get. So I'm surprised that people still hit at her. That's what I'm surprised about. I think she is the best defender I've ever played with and have ever watched. So I'm very, very proud to be her teammate.
Yeah, I mean, she makes my job so much easier. Like Claire said, I've never played with a defender like that. I think Mary is one of the best libs in the country, and she's so humble, but we just love playing around her.
Earlier in the season, you guys were really stressing improving the serve and pass, and we've seen that come to fruition. You just talked about how the past couple of games y'all have been blocking better. How much confidence does it give y'all when week by week you improve on those little things?
I mean, our end goal is the NCAA tournament, so being able to just like keep peaking and peaking in all aspects of the game is just a great thing to see.
Yeah, making the little changes is huge.
11 straight wins, 11-1 now in the Big 12. I think you guys just leapfrogged Kansas for that top spot in the Big 12. How much pressure does that take off of you guys, especially heading into this game against Kansas State, another Big 12 rival?
I mean, it is awesome to make that win, but you kind of got to brush it off, move on to the next. Kansas State is also a huge team, a huge competitor. We're going to have to go in strong, can't line up. We're going in with the same intensity that we played Kansas.
You mentioned the grit of this team. Obviously, that last set was a big battle for both of them. How does that just show more like the grit that you guys have, and what was kind of like the mindset going on in and out of the timeouts that you guys had to get that one?
Yeah, we go in strong. We do not go in tipping stuff. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose swinging. So our big thing is just balls to the wall. We are hitting as hard as we can. We're hitting hands. We're blocking well. We're being gritty. Everything is up. I think that's kind of what we say in most huddles. So yeah.
How did it feel being able to finally close it out in that last set despite the back and forth towards the end?
It was awesome. I will take part of the blame. I did drop water on the court. I did ice our own team out. But I'm very proud. I think we came out and we played really well after that little mistake.
Any other questions? Great, well, end on that.
There it is, Coach Van Neal, Argentina and Claire Jeter taking blame. I was going to say, I kept having to wipe up the court, but well, at least Claire took the onus for that. But yeah, look, like Coach Van Neal said, like they're putting pressure on teams, and obviously Argentina and Claire echoed that. But when you have a defender like Mary Stroll, libero, which yes, that is their job for those that know volleyball, absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's just crazy to me because when you look at what when you look at what they, can do as a team, like, and the calmness that he talked about of like Mary and both Argentina, like, yeah, okay, yeah, we got it. And it does reflect on team. I mean, yeah, obviously you're going to have, emotion. You're not going to be out there emotionless and passionate. So yeah, things are going well. You're going to be up. If things, you're, like you said, you miss a hit, you have a service error, hit goes wide, you're in position for the block, but you block it out, the angle, it drops down on you get the block, but it goes out, it drops down on your side of the net. Like, yeah, it is short-term memory in volleyball, but it's also, that calmness, that just demeanor. And yeah, the way Mary Schroll plays, the way Argentina Un plays, and just this team. I mean, even, like you said, experience, Jelly Sear. And when you look at the stats real quick, kill wise, Jelly Sear now has 308 kills. She could, yes, get to 400. Which would be huge, but you have Shania Cromartie at 220. Savannah Cohetti has 155. Oh, wait, hold on. So Jelly Sear is 308. Shania Cromartie has 220. Claire Jeter has 200 kills. And then, like I said, Cohetti at 155. And then Bailey Miller still has 141. And Roberta Rebello, who has come on lately, she's up to 72. So again, and again, 146 aces. So that's 5 sets of match, five sets won on aces alone, and almost 2 matches won on aces alone. So absolutely phenomenal. We are going to mic drop it on that. Again, volleyball back in action Friday, 7 p.m. at Desert Financial Arena, which is after the 3 p.m. women's basketball game against Arkansas State. So, again, go get some women's hoops. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But, yes, everybody have a phenomenal rest of your Thirsty Thursday. I'm glad I could quench your Sun Devil thirst. Again, focusing on number 11 volleyball, taking down number 8 Kansas. Absolutely awesome. So, everybody have a most phenomenal rest of your day. And, yes, thanks to volleyball, #OurState. And yes, you know it. As always, those listening on KSRN and watching, you know it. Forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. And Bubba will put it up. Throws over the middle. Boom, touchdown. Quick flag.
That's away. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot, far down, he scored!
Come from behind for a month, now with the lead
They're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get it. Wow. Edwards pulls off.